looking at here what the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, use as their practices, and I'm going to be reviewing others that I've used that are frameworks for strategic foresight that I've used in companies to take them from, let's say, a 37% success rate up to 99 to 100% success rate in terms of anticipating decision making and then delivering the results, whether they're financial or key performance metrics. So when we look at the different foresight approaches, there are multiple tools that can be used. But at the outset, like I said, if people are not in that framework of long-term thinking and do not have peripheral vision to do scenario planning or to scan the periphery, which is, when we have tunnel vision, we can't see what's around the corner. And a lot of the time, the problem with that is the human brain has cognitive barriers to being able to anticipate and see negative consequences because of pre-existing mental models. So some of the things that are done, and these are examples of the IMF and what they do, is they research long-term trends and uncertainties and uncover key drivers of various possible futures. And so scenario planning involves thinking about the unthinkable and then putting in the type of research practices and techniques to address long-term trends and uncertainties and risks. Horizon scanning is a foresight tool that scans for any types of faint signals of disruptive developments or breaks in trends, sometimes from fields outside one's profession. And so when we're doing scenario planning or horizon scanning, it's important to get the opinion of the people that are the outliers, not the complainers, because there's always complainers, and they'll always complain about how and why something doesn't work. When I'm speaking about outliers or the mavericks, thinkers in your organization, those are the people that are seeing the periphery, what's going to happen, how long it's going to take, but chances are they also have innovative solutions for how to improve the situation or mitigate the risk. Now, scenario planning is a small set of infinite possibilities of the future that may have a long horizon of implementation or action or short horizon. And so it's important to focus not just on the urgent and important things, but the not urgent and important things are usually the things in the periphery. And Stephen Covey's book was pretty much on that. The other one is using normative futures to imagine explicitly a desirable or a disastrous outcome. And so aspirational scenarios are futures that are desirable by design. And most of us as humans like to attach ourselves or cling to those. And that is a blind spot for strategic foresight. So it's important to have these types of futures that are predictive or non-predictive, but plausible, and to model out these desirable or disastrous outcomes. And I mentioned GE had a model that they had implemented for futuristic and anticipatory planning, which had people role play and develop scenarios on how to destroy their business and make them bankrupt. And so that went into the futuristic planning for risk mitigation. The other one that's interesting that the IMF uses, and I've used this as well, is when we do policy gaming as a foresight approach. And that provides us with insights into what the interactions are going to be, whether they're endogenous or outside of ourselves between different actors. It's also known as wargaming, and policy games are a dynamic simulation of exercises and may include structured role playing and elements of chance and probability. And so what's interesting about this is the human element of human systems and how predictably they play out in relationships. And so when we do the role playing, there can be surprises or policy gaming. Other foresight tools include types of things called future wheels and causal layer analysis that's done. And this would look at horizon scanning and megatrend analyses, which may actually serve as an initial starting point, for the future wheels types of exercises. I use some more highly developed models that I developed in my master's in leadership studies and for organizations, specifically for bringing new technologies to market. In my case, it was molecules or drugs. And because the numbers are so great and the patterns in the numbers, if you have strategic foresight, can be very intuitive and insightful. These types of tools are really quite well used in healthcare as well as pharmaceuticals or new technology introductions. So these are some of the types of foresight tools that can be used. I've pretty much tailored and developed new frameworks based on human systems, how different individuals are on different levels of stage progression in terms of their ability to embrace complex ideas, and also looking at organizational development and the skills and talents of different types of individuals at peripheral vision, but also how you integrate those people in your teams in group fit type of mentalities where everyone is sort of holding on to the optimistic scenario, fear of having to plan for or even scenario discuss some of the disastrous possible consequences that may be just around the corner for your business.